The sirens began screaming just after noon. Red lights flashed across the zoo grounds as visitors froze in confusion. Parents grabbed their children. Security guards shouted orders. Somewhere near the lion enclosure, a heavy steel gate hung twisted and open. The lion had escaped. His name was Ares. For most people, Ares was a nightmare made of muscle, claws, and golden fury. A fully grown male African lion, weighing over 400 pounds, capable of killing with a single swipe. The zoo had raised him since he was a cub, but instinct was instinct, and now he was free. Panic spread like wildfire. But not everyone ran. Standing just meters away from the broken enclosure was a girl who didn't move at all. Her name was Elena. She was 17, with dark hair tied loosely behind her neck, her hands trembling, not from fear, but from something far more dangerous, hope. Because Elena didn't see a monster. She saw her childhood. A bond born behind bars. Elena had grown up inside the zoo. Her father was the head veterinarian, and her mother managed animal rehabilitation. While other children played in parks, Elena learned to walk on concrete paths lined with cages. Animals were her neighbors. Caretakers were her family. And Ares? Ares was her friend. He had arrived at the zoo as a tiny cub, orphaned after poachers killed his mother. Elena was only 6 years old then. She remembered the first time she saw him. Curled up in a blanket, eyes barely open, letting out the softest, broken cry. While adults debated protocols, Elena sat beside the crate for hours, humming lullabies. From that day on, they grew together. Elena helped bottle feed him. She watched him learn to walk, to play, to roar. Through thick glass and steel bars, she talked to him every day about school, about dreams, about fears she told no one else. And Ares listened. When Elena cried, he lay beside the glass. When she laughed, he pawed at the ground like an excited child. Years passed, and the bars grew stronger. Thicker, colder, but the bond never faded. The zoo staff warned her as she grew older. He's not a pet, they said. He's still a lion. He'll forget you. But Elena knew better. Because every time she appeared, Ares stopped pacing. Every time she spoke, he lowered his head. And every time she left, he roared, not in rage, but in loneliness. The escape. No one ever discovered exactly how the gate failed. Some said metal fatigue. Others whispered sabotage. All that mattered was the result. Ares was out, roaming the zoo grounds with instincts awakened by chaos. Security teams rushed in with tranquilizer guns. Police surrounded the area. Helicopters hovered above. And in the middle of it all stood Elena. "Miss! Move away," a guard shouted. "Run," screamed a mother clutching her child. But Elena didn't run. She stared at the path ahead, the same path she had walked 1,000 times as a child. She knew where Ares would go. And she was right. The bushes parted. The ground vibrated. And then he appeared. Golden mane wild, eyes sharp, muscles coiled like living steel. The lion stopped when he saw her. For a moment, the world held its breath. Face to face. Guns were raised. Fingers hovered over triggers. One wrong move, and blood would spill. Elena slowly stepped forward. "Don't shoot," she whispered, not to the guards, but to the universe itself. Her heart pounded so loudly she was sure Ares could hear it. He took one step closer. Then another. A low growl rolled from his chest, not threatening, not angry, confused. "Elena! Get back," her father yelled from behind a barricade, his voice breaking. But Elena lifted her hand, the same hand she had once used to hold a bottle. The same hand she had pressed against glass for years. "Ares," she said softly. The sound of his name cut through the chaos. The lion froze. His ears twitched. His eyes softened. He walked closer, slow and cautious, sniffing the air. 10 meters. 5 meters. 1 meter. Elena could feel his breath. She didn't move. She didn't scream. She whispered the words she had spoken every day since childhood. It's me. You're safe. Ares lowered himself to the ground. And then, something unbelievable happened. He bowed his massive head. A miracle witnessed by thousands. Cameras caught everything. The lion pressed his forehead gently against Elena's chest, rumbling softly like a giant cat craving comfort. Elena collapsed to her knees, arms wrapped around his mane, tears soaking into golden fur. The zoo fell silent. No roars. No gunshots. Only the sound of a bond stronger than fear. Even the most hardened officers lowered their weapons. After several minutes, veterinarians moved in carefully, administering a tranquilizer. Ares didn't resist. He stayed still, trusting. Trusting her. As the drug took effect, Elena stayed with him, stroking his head. I'm here, she whispered. I always will be. Aftermath. The footage went viral within hours. Headline screamed, "Girl tames escaped lion with childhood bond, love stronger than instinct, the lion who remembered." Experts argued for weeks. Some said it was luck. Others called it impossible. A few admitted the truth no one wanted to hear. Animals remember love. The zoo temporarily closed. Investigations followed. New safety measures were enforced. And Elena? She changed everything. She studied animal behavior and conservation, determined to fight against cages, cruelty, and forgetting that wild creatures still feel connection. Ares was transferred to a protected wildlife reserve, where he could live with space, dignity, and care. Elena visits him twice a year. Every time she does, Ares roars, not in anger, but recognition. Because some bonds never break. Years later, Elena was asked in an interview, "Why didn't you run?" She smiled sadly. How do you run from someone who raised you as much as you raised them? The interviewer asked, "Weren't you afraid?" Elena looked at the screen where Ares rested under the sun. "Yes," she said. "But love doesn't disappear just because claws grow sharper." And somewhere in the wild, a lion lifted his head as if he heard her voice.